Go ahead, Dre.
Hi. We don't do that anymore, man.
I know we gonna do that, man.
Always
We should
forget
do it.
what
She
turn the
just
camera
trying
on.
to throw you into the
Nah, I
throw
always
you into
messing
the
with.
wolves.
We should have a lame intro that Dre used to give all the time.
Who do we have here today as guests? We got two guests. Please introduce yourselves.
I'm David.
And I'm Narine, and we're a couple that owns a sex toy store.
Yes.
Online.
Ooh. Yeah, we checked out the website
Yeah, for sure.
and some YouTube videos.
Yes.
We got a lot of
What do
we
you
got a lot
think?
to talk
What do you
about.
think about them? I'm very curious.
Which one? The YouTube videos or
Any
the
of them? What
sex
did you think
toys?
of any of it?
Very interesting.
Especially sex toys.
Wait. Before we go into that, I just want to go over some titles
Okay.
of the of the videos. One was was it anal training? Well,
Yeah.
hold on. Let me go back because I wanted to remember the exact title.
Yeah.
My wife is screaming at me now. It
Why?
was
'Cause
anal
She
training.
heard anal training. She was like, Dre?
Yeah, that's
What kind of video are you on right now?
yeah, I know. 1 second. Kev, go ahead while I look up the video. So I really want the title.
Yeah, we was like he seen the anal training one. That was like we was watching the video. We was like, who are they training for these anal sessions? And then the video kept playing. I'm like, hold up, they're talking about training men. Like, how many men
and women.
and women, how many heterosexual men do y'all come in contact with that are cool with anal penetration?
Oh, you'd be surprised.
So over the American population, it's about 10% of the heterosexual men that are interested in pegging and or anal penetration or sex or playing with toys. So, and then 16% of women are open to having the men receive that sort of thing. So it's a thing. It's very hush hush. Nobody really wants to talk about it, but it's a thing.
And the communication of it is growing more and more as like the years go on and more people are like opening up to it basically.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't just start like 5-10 years ago. It's been going on since,
I mean,
dawn
it's
of day,
centuries.
basically centuries. So
Century.
yeah.
We had it because we had a guest one time and she had caught her boyfriend. She had caught her boyfriend with
She didn't
himself in a
catch it.
toothbrush. And she was like surprised, like she caught him with a toothbrush in his butt. And then
That's not the story.
no, that was the story. It was the story.
No,
She
no,
caught.
listen, hold on.
No, it
Hold on.
wasn't.
How did the story go?
She caught him watching, which is look, sex is a spectrum. Nope, watching transgender porn.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then their relationship I guess elevated into her using a strap on him.
Yes.
That's what happened.
I don't know
Yeah,
what
she-
it
Where
is.
you got the toothbrush,
Yeah,
buddy?
that-
Nah, he said because he told her
Anal
he
cleansing.
had experimented with a toothbrush. And I guess they had when they went to go buy their sex toys as the business you guys in, she picked up the smallest one she can find, and he was like, no. Get the big guy over there.
Yeah. Yes. So what got you guys started in first of all, how long have you been married?
7 years.
7 years. Woo, okay.
Married 7, but
Been together for
11
11
years.
years. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, cool.
So if you don't mind asking, like, was toys ever a thing at the beginning, during the relationship? Like, how did y'all introduce them into your
Not-
relationship?
Yeah, no, great question. Not at the very beginning, but obviously, like within the first like 6 months, 8 months, we started having some fun together, basically. And it got to the point where I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I would last too long for her and make her dry out a lot sooner than what we would like. And that becomes very painful, not only for her, but for me. So I was like, I got to do something with this. Let me get some lubricant. Let me see if maybe a toy will help her reach that pleasure zone a lot sooner so that we can go on with our day. And I randomly went on, I did some research online. I went on Amazon. I found the cheapest C-ring, a cock ring basically, and it included a little bullet vibrator. So I was like, all right, cool. I can,
It's vanilla.
yeah,
It's very vanilla.
It checked off 2 boxes. I was like, all right, whatever. Or 3 boxes. Let me buy that. Got that. Tried it. The C-ring was absolutely terrible. not just the quality, just the feel. It didn't do anything for me. So we just stuck with the bullet vibrator. And the bullet vibrator, it was battery powered. But the batteries, they were like specific camera batteries. And only one store in town had those batteries available.
Wow.
So, and it wouldn't last very long. It was like, what, 3-4 sessions? And then we would have to get new
Yeah,
batteries.
they
So
were
it was very
expensive.
expensive in the long term. So that's pretty much how it started. And then it
Yeah.
grew.
I'm going to go ahead and stop you right there, and I hope I'm not being insensitive, but we're going to go back. You lasted too long for your. I had to turn that down so my wife didn't hear it. You lasted too long. What am I supposed to do with that? Like, what are we? What are we doing here? Yo, what you do, Pilates?
I was very active, not sexually active, physically active. So I was always involved in sports. I was healthy, eating, and yeah.
So if I go and just go to the gym a bunch, I can just increase my long lasting time because I'm pretty sure without me asking her, she's very interested in that.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
I mean, it's a possibility. It is. It's huge because
your diet, I think, has a lot to do with your libido, because there's a whole lot of guys that also experience erectile dysfunction, and erectile dysfunction is one of many things, but I believe it has a lot to do with your diet. It has a lot to do because my sexual functioning also has to do with my diet, because I had endometriosis, or still have it. And early on in my 20s, I realized that Western medicine telling me to be on birth control wasn't helping me any. And I had to change my diet so that, not only was he lasting longer, but I would have a lot of pain during sex. So he had to find a solution for multiple reasons for us to keep going. Otherwise, I was just always saying no.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think most of it. You never. I've been there before, and it was like, you know what? My wife says that sometimes to me. You're hurting me, and I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah.
It just throws it.
And
right out the window.
so many things matter. Like, it's your diet, vibration. Like, a vibrator usually helps with pain, because and a lot of times women are in their head when they're having sex, so it's hard to come out of it. And if you apply a sex toy, because it's such a novelty factor, like it's kind of a fantasy fulfilling situation, you tend to like get in the moment, in the zone a little more.
Wow.
So y'all started off. So your relationship started with the toys. Like how uncomfortable were you guys? Buying it, purchasing it, or having it like delivered to your house. Like, was it like, oh shit, here come my package. Let me get it off my steps real quick.
Yeah, the first one, because I was living with my parents at the time, the first one was like, shit, I hope my mom doesn't open up the box. If she does, that's it. I'm done for. Thankfully, she's very she doesn't go into like my private life, so, or even like she doesn't open up my mail or anything like that. She's very respectful. So she's like, oh, David, you got a package. I was like, all right, cool. Like any other Amazon order or any other like brown box that I would just pick up and take to my room and go on my day. But there was a time when we were moving out, actually, that same cock ring, it was in my bag. His mom like we were getting ready for like me to move out of the house, move cities, and she picked it up.
Well, she went through your thing to like organize your stuff, and then she pulls it out. She goes, "What is this?"
I was like, "No, put it back."
My power ring. It's my power ring, Mom.
It didn't look like anything. It was like a smushy jelly at that point.
It didn't look like anything.
We'll talk about like toy quality. There's so many different factors. It was like how uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable. He wasn't. I was
cracking my ass up.
For me, being raised a good Christian girl, like I've always been interested, but I never really had the guts to willingly out loud say, hey, I want to try this with him or anybody, or for myself, like secretly, because I thought if I got caught, firstly, I would get in a lot of trouble. And secondly, I would be slut shamed. So I was like, I'm not going to put myself out there like that. And, it was I feel like many years after that, it was just a bullet vibrator we stuck to. And after we got married, it just, you get married and sex starts dulling out because you get into a rhythm, you get into like a routine of life, and then you get bored. So, and plus, like I said, I had a lot of pain during sex. I had been turning him down a lot. So he decided to do more research on products, product quality, the cost and all that after we were married. That was just many years after that first bullet vibrator.
Yeah.
You know what? That's very interesting, because the fact that you took the time, because a lot of other guys, not to say that that's, out of the ordinary. I get kind of stiff armed by my wife here and there. It's been 11 years of marriage, and sometimes you get stiff armed, but to take the time to actually do some research and say, okay, what can I do to kind of facilitate things and make her feel more comfortable. I think that's something that a lot more married men and even guys in relationships can benefit from. Just take the time and actually figure out how you can get over that hump or make her feel more comfortable to do those things.
Yeah, because it's mutual. I mean, you're benefiting not just her, but you're benefiting yourself too, because if she's comfortable now having sex, that means that you guys will have sex more often.
Correct.
And a lot of men like that. So it's just like,
We
all
do.
right, I'm gonna drop everything. I'm gonna try to research, whatever I can online and
I mean,
try to figure this out.
From talking to our customer base, I think what we find is that the men are doing more research and doing the buying, whether it's for themselves or for their partner. That part gets a little shaky, but most of the time the answer is for both of them, but mostly to please her. He's always trying to find a solution to give to her so that she's enjoying sex more often or wanting to do it more often. Ladies get in their heads a lot. And with life being so busy, work, kids, chores, just doing the whole cycle, it makes us so uninterested to be connected romantically. So I think with men, they find the responsibility that, hey, maybe I should start looking into it a little more, because I think a woman is a little more apprehensive due to her upbringing versus a man being so open to like fulfilling his sexual needs. Men lead with desire, but hold their emotions in, and women lead with their emotion, but hold their desire in. So they're less likely to express their desire other than say, hey, I need you to find the solution. Just like how I keep telling them, we need to do more date nights and yada, yada, yada. And you need to figure out what the date nights are, because I'm always coming up with the creativity, right? So it's just like, how can you as a man just step up a little more and say, hey, I'm just trying to bring a little more to the table so that you're more interested, so that we could do this more often.
Yeah.
Wow. Working together.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
Exactly. That's that. Ultimately, that's what a relationship is. A marriage is really like survival is key when you work together on something and not just expect one person to do everything.
Right.
So
And that goes in the bedroom too. Sometimes, I mean, women, I think, tend to take a more passive role. And I have a theory on how that may play out. And men are a little more aggressive in like approaching sex. And I really think, from my experience speaking to so many women, more in charge type women, like controlling type females, will tend to want to be more passive in the bedroom because they're just so tired of controlling everything else in their lives. Versus like a woman who maybe is a little more passive in her lifetime or her day-to-day life, and she wants to be a little more in control in the bedroom. So it's just, I feel like this little weird dynamic happens.
And then like also vice versa. There's a lot of men like high power
Yeah.
CEO presidents, whatever, business owners, entrepreneurs that are very masculine in their day-to-day, but when it comes to the bedroom, they just want to be taken care of.
Yeah.
Like that movie. What was that? What was
you
it? Orange is
talking
the New Black? What's that movie that everybody like?
You talking about 50 Shades of Grey, bro?
Shades of Grey. I knew it.
Yeah, Orange is the New Black was about women.
Oh my gosh, bro. That's about women in prison.
Jail.
I don't think they can get toys in prison, dog.
You'd be surprised, buddy.
They're making toys in
They're
prison.
not making toys. They're probably making toys. But speaking
They're probably
speaking
making
about making toys, like, how did you guys start this business up? Like, what made you want to start this business up? In the sex toy industry.
I had a full-time job then. My background's accounting, so complete different business than sex toys. So I had a full-time I had a full-time job at that time. She started her own business doing film photography equipment, selling online. And I was like, you know what? If she can do it, I'm gonna see if I can do like my own part-time thing at the time. So I found the website, or the platform, I should say, to use, and then just started researching online different forums, finding different suppliers in the States, because we don't really do any like drop shipping from like Alibaba, AliExpress, from China. It's just everything is done here in the States. So yeah, everything's done here. So just a lot of reading.
He got into more research after I think we bought our second sex toy. He delved more into, he started listening to podcasts to get more informed about like sex in general, how-tos, whatnots.
Because I didn't know at the time, like the first sex toy that we bought was a C ring, a cock ring, right? And that was jelly. It was like purple jelly, and it was disgusting. And the more I researched, the more I read, there's like only a handful of materials that you really want to use and look after. So it's like silicone, glass, stainless steel, and ABS plastic, but those are like little parts here and there. It's not the main toy. Wow. And honestly, it's wood. There are brands. Yes, there are brands
as long
that
as
make
it,
it
the
out
coating,
of wood.
Yeah, as long as the coating is not covered with polyurethane. So like he got into the whole aspect of researching sex toys and said, I'm going to start a sex toy. I said, okay, well, forget that I'm ever going to have anything to do with it, because I would completely be disowned by our families, like both sides. I would get annihilated, maybe even murdered. I don't know. That's how scared I was.
Oh, I was going to say that was a joke though, right?
Huh?
No.
That last part was a joke, or?
No, I was seriously scared. I was scared I would get disowned. I was,
oh, wow.
Yeah, I would, because
is that because
in
of
our
like
culture,
religion?
like that?
Yeah, I'm about to ask, is that culture or religion based, or how your
Yeah.
household reacts to what they're used to? It's not 2022 to them, technically. I mean, they're still
Exactly.
still used to the old ways. Can you explain or maybe divulge a little bit on how would have or how you thought it would have affected you negatively?
Yeah, I mean, well, for the beginning, like we didn't tell any of our parents anything regarding the business.
My whole thing was, we're behind a screen, we're behind computers, our face is not on it. I just have to, write some code or find some suppliers to ship the product out to the customer, do the marketing. Everything's done on the back end side for us. So we're not on the front end like we are now. So back then, it was a lot easier to start it. And like the company, my parents wouldn't have to know, her parents wouldn't have to know. We would just tell our siblings because they're more understanding, right? They're younger generation. But then
my brother actually told my dad, who I would never tell. I told my mom in the beginning because she was, I felt like, the most open-minded of all between our parents regarding such a topic. But even she would say, oh God, isn't there like a different business you guys could have thought of to do? And she still till this day like says that. And when my dad found out, he just told me straight up, he goes, I know what you're doing. I was like, what do you, my dad, think of him as like a mafioso dude. Like everybody that sees him thinks he's part of the mafia, and they're like, he's pretty intimidating. He's a big dude, like tall, whatever. He's scary. And when he told me, he was pretty scared when you first met him.
I'm not scared of him no more.
No.
Was at the beginning, but not anymore.
But like, I like, he told me, I know what you're doing. I looked at him, I go, I don't know what you're talking about. He goes, the business that you started, your brother told me. I was like, fuck. I was like, it's not mine. I have nothing to do with it. It's David's. I have nothing to do with it. It's not my business. It is not my business. And he just said, and he looked at me, because if it was mine, then I would have probably got a beat down, is what I felt like. But if it was, because I said it was, and I passed it off as it's David's, he's a man. In our culture, men can get away with a lot. Women cannot. So for me, it was a lot harder to say, I am going to participate in a business that has something to do with sex toys. But I decided to participate because when he was doing his research, he said there was studies found that women using sex toys during pregnancy have had babies with deformities because of them. I was like, okay, like nobody fucking talks about that shit. I'm sorry. I have a potty mouth, but I don't give a shit. Like you gotta tell people what they're using in their bodies. And at that time, because of my endometriosis, learning about what I'm putting on my body, in my hair, on my skin, everything mattered. Because it really did affect my sexual organs. And And I was like, that's bullshit that nobody in the industry talks about this stuff.
Right.
It's not regulated because it's considered a novelty.
Mhm.
And we get shipped billions of dollars of product each day that people are consuming and using inside very sensitive areas in your body, which are actually very absorbent. Your anal cavity and your vagina is very absorbent.
Right.
So you're absorbing chemicals into your body and then, you know, in turn getting disease. And I was like, that's just a whole lot of bullshit. Like, if there's this reason we are going to start a store, is to educate everybody about this topic. And that's where I got involved, and then just had to kind of swallow my pride and my fear. And over time, like, it's taken many years to develop the callous, I guess you would say, to just face up and say, yeah, I own a sex toy store as a woman, an Armenian American woman. Like,
How's the relationship with you and your father, him knowing that now?
oh, he was fine with it after I explained it to David and the whole business aspect of it. He thought of it that way, but years later, I don't know why. This last year, he started
Why are they still
questioning
doing
it.
it?
Yeah, he's like, why are you guys still doing this? I don't get it. Are you trying to embarrass me? I was like, what the hell does it have to do with you? No. I was like, no, it 100% has nothing to do with you. It's about educating people and getting, you know, delivering value to people ultimately. Like, I feel like the sex toy, or mostly sex space, is just so hush hush unless you start researching it on your own, and then you learn things.
Yeah.
And then over time it like catapults and becomes something bigger. So
I think the best way, like how my mom found out, was we came home to visit my parents, and my little brother was in the kitchen, and
it's all our little brothers that fuck things.
actually, yeah. he goes, my mom's like, so Dad, like, what kind of business do you guys have now? My little brother goes, Mom, think of it like this. It's like a Toys R Us, but for adults. And he took like a slate. He's like, oh boy.
Oh,
Oh boy.
Oh, no.
I hope you know what you're doing. Because to her, it means that what's next? Drugs? You're
Yeah.
gonna
Oh,
start
man.
selling
Wow.
drugs?
Yeah, we became crack dealers and potheads and whatever else after that.
You know why? I think people think it's like that, because if you go, like, when I bought my first sex toy out of a store, it was like this freaking building. It was a blue building, no windows, no like
Back
no.
door.
How long ago was it? You gotta go into how long ago it was, though.
It was like, what was this about?
At least a decade or more,
Yeah,
right?
a decade or more ago. It was no sign out there to display what it was, but everybody knew what this.
an arrow.
Everybody knew what this
Just
building.
an arrow
Everybody
to the
knew
door.
what this building was, and you
Yeah.
go in this building, it's like it's not really well lit, and everybody's standing around looking at stuff. And it's like you had to, like, when I bought my toy, I had to wait for everybody to get out of the store, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to look at these DVDs real quick. Knowing I'm coming here to buy toys, I'm gonna look at these DVDs real quick. All right, everybody left. Let me go to the aisle I need to go to really quick. Grab what I need to grab. Put it on the counter. Hey, lady, ring this shit up quick so I can get out of here.
Did you know like exactly what you were gonna buy?
Oh, I knew exactly what I was gonna buy before
What'd
I
you
came.
buy?
What I buy? I bought one of them. What was it? One of them, like a pocket pussy. You know what I'm saying? One of them guys. So I bought flesh. Yeah, exactly. So I knew what I was gonna buy. But it was like 3 other dudes in the store. So I'm like, it was just dudes. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna sit here, keep acting like I'm looking through the DVDs. When these dudes leave, I'm going exactly to where I need to go to. I'm gonna grab this and I run to the counter. Like, you need lube? I'm like, I don't know, lady. Just throw the shit in the bag.
I don't know,
Here's my
lady.
credit card.
Give me what I need. I gotta go.
Give me what I need before somebody walks through the door and see this in my hand. I don't want nobody to know it's in my hand. Put it in the bag. Hurry up. Let's get me out of here quick.
Yeah.
But that's how it was.
I think that's an important conversation to have,
Yeah.
though.
I mean,
Everyone has sex, and everyone likes to be pleasured.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
And it's so hush hush. You know, it's so hush hush. But that's where the website comes into play. Because back when we were, you know, because just like he bought, I'll get in my story later. Just like he just bought a sex toy and he had to be incognito about it. That's how everybody feels until you were starting to able to order them online, and you know it comes in that packaging that nobody really knows what it is. I think that's where the importance of your business lies. Like, kind of not being so so forthcoming with how you're pleasuring yourself, but
Mhm.
having the courage just to go ahead and order it anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like if you don't want to order online for whatever reason, there's several reasons why people don't order online. But if there's a store close to you, there's a huge misconception of like these people are like the store workers, owners, they're just dirty people, they're
Freaks.
freaks,
People
and
get
they don't know like
judged and
anything.
classified. Yeah.
Complete opposite. 99% of the time, complete opposite. They're there to actually help you. And people going there and you seeing other people are there for the same reason.
But yet you feel ashamed and
Yeah.
scared.
I'm about to say, I think it also,
was
I
bad.
think it's the environment that you're in too, because I got my first toy at Condom Kingdom in South Philly. And you know, going in Condom Kingdom, there are many people in there at all types of days. So it was just like when you go in there feeling like a little uncomfortable, you see people just browsing, grabbing stuff, looking at it, reading the back of it, talking to their friends, people at the register. So you kind of feel like, oh, all right, everybody's doing it. So when I go to do it, I won't seem like the perv, the oddball, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the environment definitely plays a toll.
Definitely. I think my experience was the same as Kevin's. Whereas like I had walked into sex toy stores. Spencer's was my very first, but even then, like
Okay.
being in that little area where I, saw the sex toys, was like, oh God, I'm not allowed to look at this. I'm not, it just felt weird. I felt very uncomfortable. I felt like I'd be judged. People would be looking at me. But Spencer's is also a merchant whatever store, so it made it more difficult to be in that space. But walking in with my girlfriends and the sleazy feeling with a whole bunch of products all over the walls, you're like, what the hell am I gonna pick? I don't even know what the difference between A and B is, and
I think I used to walk in there and just do rounds and rounds. So not stand there and just do rounds and look at it with the corner of my eye.
You look
Like
at
this.
one thing, keep going, and come back around, look at the next thing, and go around.
it was awkward. And
Yeah,
it
I
doesn't
know.
make you feel nice being there because it gives you a sleazy vibe. So when he told me about the whole, like our first iteration of Beyond Delights was I would describe as that store that nobody wants to walk into, but it's online. I would describe
terrible.
it.
Our first logo was terrible. Our first website was like purple with like neon lights everywhere, just like the cheesiest. It
like
was terrible. Not what it is today.
No.
Very clean. Very
Yeah.
clean.
Yeah, we wanted
It's
to bring
welcoming.
that whole like minimalistic, like only the quality products that are healthy to use, that won't cause any kind of harm to your body. Most of our products have warranties, at least 1 year. We wanted it to be classy. So like if you're looking somewhere in public on your phone, somebody were to peek over, unless you're looking at a dildo, nobody knows that you're on a sex toy store like site. Like nobody.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what's a funny thing saying about speaking about dildos? The first time I was dating my ex.
What a transition.
Yeah,
Right.
listen.
Segue.
What happened? I was trying to plug my phone up. I was trying to plug my phone up to the back of it was behind the mattress, behind the backboard, so I couldn't reach it. So I'm like, I'm gonna just drop my phone down, my cord down here, and I'm going into the bed, and I'm gonna plug my phone up into the socket. So I'm moving shit out of the way, and next thing I know, I come across the dildos like all the way back against the headboard. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, hold up. Immediately, I was like, I gotta measure this shit and see if I'm bigger than this thing, and if I'm here wasting my time. Thank God, it was like, I'm bigger.
Oh my God.
But saying that about dildos, like how many guys are uncomfortable, you think, with their women having dildos, especially they find one is like, man, it takes up the whole dresser drawer. Like, what am I here for?
Like honestly, I think what guys have a problem with in regard to most sex toys, but mostly dildos, because they're always doing comparisons and or thinking they're not good enough. It's an ego factor. Like you got to drop that ego.
There's nothing better than the real thing.
Exactly.
For
A
women.
woman likes the hot flesh. Like it doesn't matter what size it is. It matters what you know how to do with it. Okay. And the dildo is just merely a novelty. Sometimes Maybe she wants you to do it with your hand and not with your pelvis, like whatever. Like maybe she wants to stick it against the wall while she's going down on you, and then being able to do it whatever,
Super hot.
herself from the back. So it's a matter of novelty. Like you just got to bring in the imagination and put your egos aside as men and say, how can we as a couple have more fun doing this so that we can want to do it again?
Dildos, sex toys in general are not meant to replace
Exactly.
humans. It's that simple.
You got to stop
It's
thinking.
there to enhance,
Yeah.
but not replace.
It's not. It doesn't mean you're not good enough. It doesn't mean you're not big enough. It doesn't mean any of that. You just got to put that ego aside and say, how can we have more fun together with this item?
My ego was like, I seen.
That's amazing.
I'm like, holy.
That is
I was
amazing.
like, bro, I was like, holy shit. That's the first thing that came to my mind. I was like, holy shit. I pulled it out of the bed. I'm looking at it like, oh, you motherfucker. I'm just looking at him like, how long has this been underneath here? And how did
You gotta count the rings.
You made it a competition.
Count the rings.
Competition. Count
did.
the rings. Count the rings.
But here's funny thing. Like she had her stashed underneath the bed. This is
Kevin said count the rings.
he said count the rings.
Oh, like a tree.
He got it marked. He got it marked back with a marker, like how far she goes deep in the shit. And you know what's fucked up? At the same time she had this, as around the same time I bought my pocket pussy, but I had mine stashed in the bathroom, like all the way behind the bottom cabinet, like all the way behind all the products, and this little the black bag they give you from the sex stores all wrapped up neat and tight. I'm like, holy shit, I can't be mad at her for having hers underneath the bed, and I got mine in the bathroom
in the
behind
medicine cabinet behind the Tylenol.
I do have a question off the heels of Kevin. Just in general, what would you guys say? Like, and I don't want to get too personal, but I am very curious. What was like the toy that just blew the doors off what we said when you guys said, this is where we, start our journey? I know you had the ones that you bought early, but what was the toy that was just like, this one here? It's like the Jordan of toys. Michael Jordan.
Okay, well,
Vibrator. It was a vibrator for me.
It was what's called WeVibe is the brand.
Okay.
And it's called the actual product is the Touch. So WeVibe Touch, and it was like a little clitoral vibrator.
It's like a leaf shape.
The MSRP was like $99.
Mm-hmm.
There was a discount, so I got it. That's pretty much what sparked it.
Because it, again, like painful sex, not being able to get into the zone as quickly, a vibrator just with that extra clitoral stimulation, because a lot of times just using your hand as a woman is a lot of work.
Right.
We
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Those men.
I'm about to say.
And a lot of times most couples don't go into foreplay. A woman needs a lot of foreplay. She needs that massage. She needs that date. She needs that, a little bit of attention, whether it's cuddle or whatever her preferences are. She needs that foreplay. And foreplay can be so many different things. It's not just in the bed. It starts out of the bed. And with the clitoral vibrator, it just like brings you to arousal a lot quicker, and then you can get to it a lot, quicker. So
And
if you don't have the time, and if you haven't had, the chance to do whatever else, because life does get busy. Like it's not always fun and games.
The investments, like money wise, is worth it. So if you're in a place where you can't really afford something, try to save up a little bit more, and then buy something that will actually last you a lot longer.
Yes, I'm checking some of your products out now. What are some of like your best selling products? Like the one that you can't keep stock. You can't keep stock.
Going back to the very beginning for full circle, that anal training set.
Whoa.
Told you.
Everyone, it's not just men. It's men wanting it for their women, or women wanting it for themselves, and men buying it for them, or women buying it for themselves personally. So, and men also are interested in anal training, and it's called training because you have to train that muscle to grow in order to be able to get big things into it. Like it starts with a little finger, and then it goes into 2 fingers, and then it goes into product, and then it goes into a bigger product, and then longer product. You can't just like, most people go to the ER, and this is very common because we have an ER
I've heard.
friend. Like, he tells us about all the stories of people coming in, putting things in their bodies that should not go in
It's
there.
very normal.
It's a
It
black
happens
hole.
daily.
Yeah, man.
It's a black hole.
How many people lost gerbils?
Black hole.
How many gerbils was lost?
I'm telling you, you say that, but that's a real. It's a real thing.
It's
I've
real.
heard about that.
And
It's
why
real.
would you
It's
use
bad.
gerbils?
It's
That's
and
scary.
you talk about toothbrush. That's not okay. Like, that is really, really bad for your body.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm hold on, because I want to go back to that, and not to be immature about it, but
yes, be immature.
Yes.
How-
this is what it's
how
about.
is a
Look, he said
toothbrush-
yes.
how is a toothbrush bad for your body? I mean, you're not using it after. Like, if you don't use it after, like, how, you know what I mean?
The
Like,
end
how
of
is it bad?
the end of a toothbrush, right? Not the one with the brushes on it.
Yeah.
The
Right.
bristles.
Oh,
bristles?
yeah. If you use the other
No,
part, I don't know what you're doing back
Maybe
there.
somebody like the bristles, like get the bristles.
Well, for one, is it a new toothbrush? If it's not, then that's a bacteria house right there because it has multiple pores. Secondly, because of the material, it's not coated for safety for your body. It's not coated or solid in a way so that your body doesn't take whatever is on that product.
I beg to differ. It depends on the material, like the quality of the actual toothbrush. Some of them might be made out of silicone, and that's totally fine. Because there's a lot of like food grade silicone that people use even in the kitchen. For the most part, that's fine because those can go into the dishwasher, right? And they're boilable, right? So
Yeah.
use those. So those are fine.
Whatever
Those
you
won't
can
break
boil,
down.
whatever you can boil or put in the, but again, like, that's not to say you got to be really careful about the ridges of something going inside your body. You got to, like, you have to make sure that whatever you're using isn't going to like splinter off. And
Be as creative as you want. It's your body. Do what you want, but just make sure you're doing it in the right way, using the right products, testing it first, not on yourself, but like in boiling water. See if it like breaks or anything like that. Maybe drop it to the floor, see what happens.
a toothbrush can also break in your body. Also, if you're going to do things in your butt, you got to always,
There's a lot, Kevin.
Yeah,
you got to always make sure it has a base.
Jesus Christ.
There's a lot. That's why sex toys are sex toys. So just go use them instead of trying to get creative.
Household
out them.
items.
So
Yeah, don't use the household
so
items
how
to
do-
put in your butt.
how do I bring this up to my lady? Like, I want to try some anal with her.
That was
with
a really
her.
good question.
I'm very interested in how you answer
How
this
do you
question.
introduce her?
Yeah. How do you
Into
walk
this,
them
like,
into this lifestyle?
Don't introduce it in the bedroom.
Never after sex. Never before sex. You
Okay.
gotta set up a space where you're both intimate, comfortable discussing intimate things. And remember, it's the psychology of things. So if you bring something up and she's going to be totally against it, it's going to be fear-based. It's going to be, or she might be open to it, but you ultimately have to never put your reason first. You got to understand her first. Say, like, honey, have you ever heard about whatever topic? And do you know anything about it? Have you ever found an interest in said topic? Or have you ever been curious or tried or, wanted to do these things, these sorts
Or
of
like,
things?
hey, what kind of fantasies do you have? Just, because people grow and their fantasies might change too. Like, just be very open with it. I mean, it's your partner for a reason, right? So there should be like an open line of communication.
Oh, yeah.
The reason why we say don't do it in bedroom is because if they hush you down, if they say no and they're completely against it, that space is going to be known
for toxicity,
for that negative energy, that toxic conversation that you guys just had. And it's going to be a lot harder for them to want to be romantic with you in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Wow. I've never thought of that, and I've tried.
No, never.
We've
Yeah,
all
you don't.
tried.
You got to you have to, like, a romantic date night somewhere where it's comfortable for you both to discuss things. Or you can say, oh, hey, I just heard this podcast about anal training. Have you fucking ever heard of such a thing? Like, you got to train your asshole. It's insane. And then ultimately, like, if they're open to the topic, you discuss what you learned. You don't discuss your interests. You're still not putting yourself first here. You're trying to teach them and tell them this, and then you would say, I kind of like have this weird fantasy or thought, or maybe wondering if you want to try, like, and if they're open to it, then fine. And if they say no, don't push it any further. Say, you gotta tell them or ask them, do you think we could talk about it some other time? If it's something you really want to pursue, do you want some time to think about it? Let's talk about it like a week from now, a few days from now, whatever. Maybe tomorrow, maybe you got to sleep on it. And if it's a hard no, don't ever push it any further, because you will definitely cause more harm in your relationship than you would anything. Like, don't.
I got a hard no. Years and years ago, I got a hard no.
Gotta
I still
stick
play around back there, just
That's-
you know,
Gotta stick your tongue in there one good time. Yes.
one good time.
So, anal is also.
I'm just saying, like, that's a whole other story. I'm good with that, but the
That's
other
all-
part,
That's all. That's a go all day.
Anal could also mean, hey, what do you think? I'm not trying to put anything in your butt, but what do you think about like a slight massage around the rim of your
Or
butt?
pressure
Pressure during doggy
or-
style goes a long way for a lot of women. Like they will orgasm harder than they've ever orgasmed, and then maybe she might be open to it slowly. So you got to start with baby steps. It's pressure, and then finger, and then another finger, and then product. So train. It's a training. It's a marathon. It's not just like a sprint where you think it's going to happen at once. You got to take it slow.
What is that movie? Inception. You gotta plant the seed in their mind and think it's done.
Exactly.
There you go.
Okay. I've taken that approach, and we've talked about it here before. The rubbing, we usually with the thumb, and while you're involved, and
Doggy style. Just say you're hitting it from the back. I'm the one who told you to do it on the first day.
on the first day. I've never done it on the first day, but I
have. You spit in her. I told him before. I said you spit in her butt, and she doesn't move.
Use lube. Don't spit.
I know. I was just hard. I'm a horrible person. I'm the horrible one out of the group. So I said she didn't move. Let me rub around it. Let me rub around the rim. She still hasn't moved. Okay. Apply a little bit of pressure. Okay, she wants it. Then the thumb. She's like, I'm like, all right, she likes it.
Yeah, but like where do you go from there?
It's a 4-step process. It just, I guess. See, that's the thing. I want to know how to take that step. I always stopped at the thumb. I was like, Jesus, how do I get to where I'm in there? But you saying anal training is the way. I gotta look into the products.
I'm very curious because that's the subject that's like, okay, if we do decide to go with that takes some preparation. That takes like, you know what I mean? Like you really have to be involved and
it's work.
It's
work, and it's not just toys, or it's also your diet as well. Yep. It's like when do we do this? Do we do it like in the morning, at night, like during the day? When do we do this? Like
how long before do you poop?
When was our last your last bowel movement? Do we shower and then do it? Which is I would recommend showering and then doing it. There's like you have to clean it first, right? Obviously, both for both of your benefits. And then there's things that we sell. They're lube launchers. So basically, you put the lube in this like little launcher thing, and then you stick it in their anus, and then you launch the lube into their anus. So now the anal cavity is kind of
you got to be coated internal, external,
with whatever silicone that you're using, and that's just to make it easier for both of you guys. So there's less pain.
Do y'all offer these products
on there? Yeah, I see that on there.
Oh yes, that gets me into my next.
Remember
I wasn't aware.
Remember, I said it looked like a needle. I was trying to tell you about it.
Yeah, I seen that earlier. I'm like,
that's what I was talking about. I was like, what is this? Now I know.
I know. So how many of your products have you tried? Like I'm going to use this. Let's use this.
Not a lot.
How many products?
20.
20.
If I were to give a number, I don't know.
That's 25,
30,
not a
maybe?
lot, but you've used 20 of them.
Yeah, like so sometimes
how many products
we get an idea of like a product.
How many products do we have
in our store?
No, not in our store.
No, I mean, well,
in your store.
Yeah, in your store. I don't.
In our store, we have.
We used to have over 1,000.
75 with different variants of each one. But I mean, with us, we have 60?
Probably, I don't know. We have a ton of. We
About
have
50,
like
60.
we have scary amounts of toys around.
Yes.
Sometimes our kid gets into it and pulls it out.
Storage. Where do you
Yeah, but
store it? I have to know
you
where
got
you
a
store
room
them.
designated straight to the loving.
Costco bins. You know the black bins with the yellow lids?
Yeah, he'll get into things and he'll pull them out sometimes, and you're like, okay, whatever. But it's also like if your kids ever get into that kind of stuff, if they find it, it's important not to react in a bad way towards it, because then you're creating apprehension and trauma.
See, me, I think I would get like one of them John Wick closets, you know, when John Wick goes with all his guns. Just open up.
And just dildos with neon
Yeah.
lights.
Yeah, what I'm going to use them.
LED
What I'm
lights
going to
on
use
them.
on you today. Let me load up before I go to the bedroom. No,
Yeah.
listen. I seen this, the one product, man, I'm thinking about probably purchasing the Post Solo Essential male stimulator. Like, he was looking at, yeah, because we both were looking at it earlier. He was like, yo, how does this work? I can just jerk off myself. Did you not say that?
I did say
You
that.
did.
Yeah, with a glove on. That's what I was saying.
He wanted to jerk off with a Michael Jackson glove. But no, listen, like explain to him
I
how
did not want to think of that one.
They call that a smooth criminal.
That's the Thriller.
So
Thank you, please.
all right. So, like, how much does that help enhancing male masturbation over, just the old caveman style of just some lube and that? But like, explain to our listeners like how that works. How's that better?
It has ridges. It has different pressure points. That's some products you can actually make them pretty tight. Like there's one that we sell, or we're gonna sell. I'm working on it right now. It's called the Arcwave Voy. So that's a masturbator, and
It's the first silicone type masturbators. So we don't sell anything that's not silicone. What you guys know as the fleshlight is TPE or TPR material, which melts over time. And by the way, don't keep that in your bathroom because the moisture will definitely melt it and also cause it to grow bacteria.
there's a reason those have a shelf life.
Yeah. So those you only use so many months and then you throw them away and buy more.
No,
Get yourself like a good silicone one. Don't.
I want something I can have for a lifetime.
Yeah. Like
I like, you don't want to give me none?
Arcwave would be one.
Yeah,
Exactly. You want to give me none? I'm going in the bathroom. You're going to hear a lot of.
It doesn't even have a vibrator. So there are some that have vibrations. By the way, penises can benefit from vibrators. Like it's most people think a penis is only for a woman, a vulva owner, but penises can also have multiple orgasms. Not ejaculation, orgasm.
there's the difference.
Whose penis? Whose?
Your penis, right? You
They can
have
do that? They make them to do that now. I've never experienced it.
Wow.
Never experienced it. I'm a one and done type guy.
This
You
is
know what I
turning
mean?
into a show and tell.
You got to watch our videos on YouTube because there's an episode teaching you guys how to use this vibrator right here. It's called the Touch.
This is one of the first types of vibrators that he bought for me, but this one is the next generation of it. It's just a clitoral vibrator, but a penis underneath the head is the most sensitive part, the frenulum, where there's a little thin line that attaches from the shaft to the head. That is the most sensitive area of a penis.
Wow.
Period. So when you stimulate very gently right in that area, a man can have multiple orgasms. Also, men aren't taught what an orgasm is. They think ejaculation is it. A lot of times when you have like these nudges, just like women do, that's an orgasm.
Yeah, those are mini orgasms.
What?
I was not aware. I am familiar with those. I'm also familiar with the frenulum. He's my frenulum. That's usually where I concentrate at when I need to do what I need to do.
Well, there you go.
I was not aware.
You've
Truly.
been practicing it, but you just didn't know about it. Nobody teaches that.
Jesus, Dre.
Wow.
I didn't know.
Next
I
level,
I
right?
really didn't. Yeah, no, I'm serious.
I didn't
Y'all
either.
laugh.
Listen,
Like y'all laugh like y'all don't pleasure yourselves.
I pleasure myself all the time. It's the other Kev that acts like he hasn't.
What are
He
you
acts
talking
like-
about? Who laughed about they
It's
didn't
like
pleasure
masturbation. Who does that? Man, listen.
I think with
Kevin, is the other
sex-
Kevin married?
I
Ray
masturbate.
is married. You're married,
Yeah.
but Kevin.
He's not. He's not married yet.
I'm
Well, neither of
engaged.
us. Yeah, we're both engaged.
I'm
Oh,
getting married
okay.
soon. Yes, yes.
I
But
see.
like
Congrats.
I said,
Yeah.
I don't care. I'll beat it till they get a restraining order on me against me. Whatever. I don't care.
All right.
I'm just
All right,
saying.
there, buddy.
Yeah. See.
I think with men, the idea of sex toys is always, it's always like kind of treaded lightly on, because if when you think of sex toys, like, before you get, all into it, is you think of dildos, you think of stuff that goes, in your butt and the vagina and stuff like that. But nobody really thinks about good sex toys for like, for masturbation for a man.
Yeah.
Is that your recommendation, the clitoral, or is there anything else that's like
That's just
out the
an
water?
example. That's just an example. There's one for like a male masturbator. There's one that I would recommend. It's called the Fun Factory Monta.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what that is, but I want to read.
I'm looking.
Let's make one thing clear. Almost any sex toy can be used amongst both sexes, male and female. Okay? Any sex toy. It's how creative you can get with it, and then how knowledgeable you are of how to use the products to be able to get creative with it. Again, not many in the sex toy space teach that. We do our best to do that. It's mostly in our email system. So if you want to sign up, we legit go into the details of how-tos of all of these things. So yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, the male
Yeah,
Monta. So that can also be
seen that.
used flat instead of as just a vibrator for men. It could be used flat against the frenulum, again, the male penis. It could be used on a vulva, a vagina owner, to do clitoral vibrations. You can use it, the tip, while it's in the round state, or you could lay it flat against a vagina, not a vagina, a vulva, and use that during sex also, while he's inside you. Like it just, there's so many different ways you can use so many different products.
Jesus.
Wow.
Jesus.
I've never thought about it.
I'll be firing off like a machine gun.
Well, that's what we. And you know what?
Machine gun Kevin.
We crave that too. I want to be able to.
Yeah.
I want to be able to keep going. I want to be able to. You know what I mean? And I want to be able to please her a lot better too. You know what I mean? Like, we got egos. Oh no, I'm all I need. You know what I'm saying? But she might need some. She might need something fly. We might need to be having futuristic sex, Star Trek sex that, you know what I mean, like, that you never thought that you would have. But we're going into our 40s.
Yeah.
You know what
And
I mean?
right, it's mostly communicative sex. It's when you communicate what you both want is when things will liberate between the two of you. Like, it's not just about going and beating it and watching porn. That's not going to help your relationship. It's how can we do this together so that I don't have to feel like I need to do that? What do you need more from me? What do you want? Right? How do you want it? Where do you want it? Do you want to explore different ways of doing it? Like, we get into routine, but you got to put in that work and say, I need to massage you a little bit, right? And get you there. I need to help you get there so that I can get it too. So it's always a,
And it's not also like getting to that point. It's also, okay, we had sex. What do we do next? A lot of couples, they just go on each other's sides of the beds and they just fall asleep, right?
Yep.
That's wrong. The connection is lost. Like, you're done. Why? No, spend some more time together. Go to sleep, cuddle, whatever.
Not always, because I just want to sleep most times.
Or that. It depends on your lady. Yeah, but at least at least communicate a little bit more after the act is done.
I feel bad because I cuddle with my lady sometimes.
For women, it's annoying to clean up. Nobody wants to have sex because they just don't want to clean up.
I clean up. You know what? I feel bad. I clean up, but I clean her up. Yeah, but you know what? I feel bad. Like, I go to sleep naked, and it's like, oh man, still some jizz still coming out of there, and it's like it gets all on her back. I'm like, shit, she's gonna wake up sticky.
Oh, no.
That's why I feel bad.
Cleaner.
No, I mean,
you go directly in the
you can take a
after.
shower, but you still be a little bit of still, you rub up.
I wipe
Yes,
off.
come on.
No, I say I wipe off, and usually she has to, not to put too much information out there, but she has to kind of clean herself up because I don't,
You don't clean her up.
my stuff. Listen, I can get really into it. My stuff
Get into it, bro.
doesn't necessarily do anything right now, so I'd go inside of her. So she has to do that. I'm not going to be. I mean, if she let me, I would.
One of my girlfriends, it's called Awkward Essentials.
Yeah.
All the time.
The cum sponge. She just came out with a new cum sponge. So like you put it in right after you swirl it and you pull it out and then it gets all the jizz out. So look into Awkward Essentials. They're the first of their kind. Let's just say that.
Sponge.
I've never heard of that. I'd be kind of want to keep it in there though, just in case I might get lucky. If God decides to kind of plop
Give you a
a
baby.
baby in there, then so we kind of do that. Just like, hey, we might get lucky. That's
Well, if it's for that reason, then that's different. But like otherwise, most women don't want to deal with the cleanup afterwards.
Shit, I'm gonna invest in that.
It's like I've already done all this work throughout the day. I don't want to do more work.
What's it called again?
I get that.
A cum sponge.
Called
Essentials.
Awkward Essentials.
Essentials.
Awkward
I
Essentials.
love that name, by the way. Awkward Essentials.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Absolutely.
It's cool, man. Listen,
Well,
yeah,
wait,
guys is like hesitant, man. Just speak about your sex
I
life.
was going to ask a question
Go ahead.
there, Mr. Finding Dildos Behind the Bed. So I know you guys
comparing them.
and comparing itself.
You damn right I'm going to compare it. I'm not going to throw that thing in the trash. Ain't not going to be bigger in the house than me.
Have you ever came across any names that you might have known purchasing things from your website? Which we'll get into your website in a bit.
What do you mean? Like
a friend,
customers?
family? Yeah, you see a friend or a
yeah,
family
yeah.
member purchasing.
Yeah. I
from
mean,
you?
it happens. I don't really think anything of it. I don't call or text them. Hey, did you make a purchase from us? No, I don't do that. if anything, I'll say like get it from me directly. Don't go through the website. If anything,
Okay.
yeah. But
Just send an emoji eyes as soon as you see the order.
Nice.
I'm like, hey, what's up? You know
You don't
what's
want them
up.
to feel apprehensive about it.
Yeah, you don't want to make them feel
Not-
uncomfortable.
Yeah, man.
no.
So a fist bump.
Hey, how did you like that product I sold you? Did it work wonders? I know what.
No,
But it could be something you
I
recommend.
mean, for the most
Yeah.
part, our backend is pretty streamlined. So sometimes we don't even see the names. So it's just the order goes through.
That's
Okay.
good.
Yeah, it just kind of does its own thing and it
Yep.
ships and
Mhm.
you don't even I get that too. I'm just curious because it's like, let's say if you recommend something because back in the day, or at least 12, 15 years ago, we used to have sex toy parties. That you know what I mean? Like and
still
people would
happen.
actually sell
Yeah.
through the party. And you might recommend something, and sometimes if they buy that thing, you're like, hey, did everything go all right? Was it all good? And that's really more of what I was curious about.
A lot of times, I mean, I feel like people send in reviews. That's where the reviews come in. We try not to be so involved because people are apprehensive about talking about it. Again, like even if it's someone I know closely that I've sold a sex toy to, I've asked and they just don't feel comfortable talking about it. So it's like, okay, that's fine. You don't need to. You don't need to tell me. So it's like, how do we streamline it? And it's normally through if you made a purchase, you'll get I think like a week later or something, an option to review a product, and that gives us insight of whether or not this is a good product to keep in our store.
But even with that, like naming wise, if you look at the reviews, most of our reviews have anonymous on it because a lot of people don't like sharing their name that leave a review. So we like making it easy for our customers.
Okay.
I think the Opinionated podcast is going to buy a toy, and I'm just going to hold my toy up, take a picture with it, and leave a review.
Honestly, I wasn't. I was going to make a purchase when my funds come up, but I was going to make a purchase and
Not a
try
group
some new
purchase.
stuff. I haven't done it. No, not a group purchase.
He
I
said
don't want to do
Opinionated
anything.
podcast.
Why would you want to do a group picture with me and our toy that we purchased? We all have the same. We all have 3 different toys.
I feel like I shouldn't have to explain why that's weird.
Yeah.
I'll do my own.
We've been best friends for 20 years. I would do it.
Speaking of which, you guys want to tell us about your website and everything that you can find? I know we went over it, but just give kind of a synopsis of where to find you, where to find your website and YouTube.
So we was talking before we had a little malfunction with the internet service. We was talking about your website. Can you tell us how to find y'all, the products available, and also the name of your YouTube channel and when everybody can see you and when your episodes drop?
Yeah, and for YouTube, it's just if you search Beyond Delights, it'll be top spot. Website's beyonddelights.com. Same with our Instagram handle. It's Instagram on /Beyond Delights. I don't think there's, you know what? There's only one other Beyond the Lights, and they make cakes or cookies.
Yeah, when you Google.
I could do both.
Only when you Google though.
Yeah. And as far as the products go, I mean, we do dildos, vibrators, clitoral, anal plugs, anal training set, as we already talked about.
Male masturbators.
Male masturbators. It's
Lubes.
not as much into like the kinky stuff because it can get a lot kinkier. We're very beginner, intermediate. Yeah, there you go.
Just start to get horny.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
What?
I'm just saying, you know, people
Shout
take
out.
it. Sometimes people take it too far. You know, I don't want to take it that far.
I mean,
like,
we
I like where
do-
you guys play at.
I think we see more of like a beginner base in our store, intermediate beginner, versus like the extreme people who have experience. But also, with talking with extreme people, there's a lot of things I feel like because they haven't been educated in. I wouldn't personally call them extreme. They just do extreme things, but they also haven't known that there's certain things they still need to be educated on when it comes to sex toys or even sex.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We
Just
all
can't-
some people have learned the wrong habits, but we
Yeah.
that's a whole nother.
Nobody teaches it. I mean, we can't. I
Listen,
mean, I don't know. I don't want to judge anybody, but the times are different now. We're getting educated, right?
Yeah.
Find the companies that are providing that education for you so that you could be a better spouse, partner, whatever. Like even for yourself, you gain confidence when you know your own body.
Absolutely.
Y'all hear that, people? Corn is for cooking. Once y'all get it.
What?
I'm just saying.
What? I
seen
don't understand.
I seen videos.
What happened when the internet cut out?
He just he went rogue.
Yeah. He went rogue.
Okay, what are we missing?
Speaking
You guys didn't give us your all.
Speaking of which, and you can answer this any way you want. Would there happen to be a code for maybe our listeners that maybe they can get, some type of special deal or something like that?
Well, when
Nah,
will this air? This
That's what-
episode?
Let's see here. We're gonna not this
It's Friday.
Tuesday.
This
Next
Friday?
no.
Next Friday.
Next Friday, because we're gonna clip this up. We want to make clips. We want to promote it the right way. So we usually would guess we're 2 weeks out.
Okay. Because I was gonna say if it is Black Friday, Cyber Monday, we have 35% off. But specifically for your guys' channel, we can extend that 35%,
Okay.
Awesome.
and
Nice.
that's a one-time deal.
All right. So what I'll
That
do
would
is
that would be only time. But if we did like a 10% off or something, or 15% off, because podcasts last a long time, you can't really.
this is evergreen content. So what we're going to probably do is we're going to be promoting for the next 2 weeks. Clip it up, and we'll just put on there your Black Friday sale and your website where you can be located. It's just the reason we do that is so people can, like, oh, I can't wait till this episode drop. This is funny when it's coming out. Gets their attention. And then once it drops, it's like sharks to blood.
You're gonna have a
Yeah.
lot of people really like after the information that you guys shared that are really interested in at least taking a peek at what you got. And I think once they get to the website, it's something for everybody.
Yeah,
Definitely something for everybody on there.
Yeah.
man. Listen,
No, I mean we can do a 20% off. I'll text you guys, or we'll shoot that
email.
message. Or email. Yeah.
yeah, we got our website set up and everything like that, and we can, talk from there. But we're gonna wrap this up because I'm guessing these guys said I got out of control today. Usually they keep showing me.
Nah, it was a good time.
I had a great time. You guys are
Yes,
you guys are great sports about
Yeah,
that.
good
Because
time.
this dude's crazy.
Yeah, that dude.
I want
If
to know what the after
I mean, we
conversation is.
didn't have any conversations for you guys or questions for you guys. So if you guys ever want to do this again, we're more than open to them.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah! Listen,
Hell yeah.
we're
love
more than
comeback
welcome
guests.
to come back guests or come on your YouTube channel. Like I said, we do this podcast. We do this podcast to help promote people and show people different things. Like it's just fun for us, man.
Shed lights on stuff that people don't normally get to speak about, or voice the opinions that people are scared to normally say, or have a good time and just have open air with just free speech. Come as you are, who you are.
Exactly.
So
yeah, we appreciate you guys for joining us.
And thank you.
Thank you for taking your Sunday to do this, guys.
Yeah, man, it was a good time.
Yeah.
We're
love
gonna definitely do it again.
God,
So
great
as
time.
you know,
Yeah.
we're gonna.
And I just want to point something out before we go. Earlier, I noticed that when you guys were talking, the way that you were looking at her as she was talking, that's a happy couple. So if any proof is needed, other than him lasting forever, that the sex toys and being open with your sexuality, that it works in a relationship. Look at this interview on YouTube and you'll see the way he looks at her while she's talking. You'll understand. Trust me. I noticed that. Yeah, it was something in that.
I'll take your word for it.
Oh, you'll look back like, oh, I don't know what y'all gonna do.
She's gonna be like, I seen you looking at me.
but
Get the touch.
Very happy. Very, very happy.
Get the touch.
All right, we out of here. That's the end of the recording. Everybody enjoy your day. Peace.
Way to make it awkward.